Good shot. Remember, I opened this thing, just remind me. Sure. No. Testing. 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 So I'm here at the Parks Department building. The meeting's going to start in about 5 minutes. The only thing on the agenda tonight is my open meeting complaint. Yeah, we've got the short version is they introduced the rules differently than they used to, in a way that I believe violated the open meeting law and is a difference in their pattern and rather procedure. And they've since kind of adjusted the way they do the petition, so going forward it may not be that big of an issue, but where I'm going with this is the actual issue here is how it's delivered on the agenda. They cite the 7th reason they're able to go into executive session based on complying with policies, whereas this is more about the competency of the person in charge. But they're going to have to effectively vote on going into executive session, most likely citing that they are going into executive session to discuss complying with the open meeting law, which is hypocritical and silly, but we'll see if they actually comply with what's expected here. But because it's not on the public agenda, let's just the proposed update to the rules were not included in the printed or digital agenda provided to the public for the meeting they were voted on. I petitioned the Worcester City Council to request the city manager to instruct the Worcester Department of Parks and Recreation to act in the interest of public participation by prioritizing transparency and providing notice before implementing new rules. But the city clerk did not allow my petition, citing the law department saying that the open meeting law and the city manager's executive rules and regulations apply, and any rule changes would be discussed in an open meeting session. Entirely separate note, I guess, but the I filed a public records request for the city manager's executive rules and regulations as referenced by the clerk. Turns out they don't. Their first response, they were confused. They were like, "Wait, the document you're referring to doesn't exist. Please provide clarity." And so I provided the timeline. I provided the timestamp of the clerk's email, and they eventually responded with the not city managers, but city executive rules and regulations, and they're from 1987, which is apparently the last time this document has been updated. So apparently they're supposed to be following that rule, and they weren't, but no one's been given it. They made sure to clarify. Public Records Department doesn't really like me because I make them go and dig up things that other people say exist and haven't been updated in 30 years. So in my request, what action, because on the open meeting complaint form, which frankly is an amazing thing. Everyone should use it. It requires the meeting to, the body to meet within 14 days. So in other words, this meeting's happening because I filed this form, which is obnoxious, but also an entirely legitimate legal tactic, especially when there is in fact an open meeting violation. But my request is to ensure the Assistant Commissioner of Parks and the Worcester Parks and Recreation Commission fully comply with the open meeting law. And that is about not just one individual, but also the Aaron Zamardo and Andrew Stratton. Wait, Andrew Stratton, sorry, Andrew Serrato. And anyways, you're about the whether or not they vote on it to go into executive session, and whether or not these guys care about the open meetings law.
Open the window, crack the door open. That's my one thing. It's only better than wherever you get your you never know what you say.
Not till 7:15.
Also says tune in, I'll read it.
I didn't have my glasses on.
She said she can attend until 7.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know this thing on? The red light is on.
Two more minutes or so. We'll go.
Yeah, just in case.
We have that.
Somebody pop by?
Yeah.
Just Natalie, isn't it?
Let's go good.
We're good. She's here.
Make sure, okay, she is. We have 4, so whenever you're ready.
Call to order the Thursday, January 23rd meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission. Lily, could you do a roll call?
1 minute, please, I think this is not. Commissioner Chacharoni,
Here.
Commissioner Darty, Commissioner Serrato,
Here.
Commissioner Turner,
She might not be able to hear you because your mic's not on. Is it green?
Yeah, it's green.
Okay.
Good evening, my apologies for the delay.
Is now joining.
That's Eric.
Give it a try.
Commissioner Stratton,
There we go.
Yes, here.
Commissioner Turner,
Can't hear her. Tell her you can't hear her.
Commissioner Turner, we can't hear you. We still can't hear you.
Tell her to type in the chat here.
Commissioner Samaro,
Here. Public participation. There will be a 2-hour time limit for this meeting unless a majority of the commission members present vote to extend the allotted time. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, and in order to ensure active public engagement, the City of Worcester currently allows for both in-person and remote participation at the Parks and Recreation Commission meetings. To partake in the public participation section of this meeting, you may join us directly within the 50 Officer Manny Familiar Way, Meeting Room A. Follow the information above to join via the Teams application, or dial the direct line as indicated. If you would like to raise your hand when in the meeting as a call-in user, you may dial *5. For public participation on agenda items, a person may speak for no more than 3 minutes in total on any items appearing on the agenda.
Hello, David Webb, City of Worcester. Sorry, one moment. David Webb, City of Worcester. I'm here to speak on the only item on the agenda, 7A. As I understand it, you were definitely able to hold an item for, or enter an executive session to discuss the reputation, character, or physical condition or mental health of a professional, but not the professional competence of an individual. These discussions should be held in open session to the extent that the discussions deal with issues other than the reputation, character, health, or any complaints or charges against the individual. So in other words, if you are going to be discussing the reputation, character, health, or complaints or charges against an individual, I guess going into an executive session makes sense. The open meeting law, additionally, it's worth noting that the individual who is the subject of the discussion may also choose to have the discussion in an open meeting. So now I'd just like to note that while they also delegated it to the law department, the city council clerk included the open meeting complaints I filed with them in the public agenda. And I hope and appreciate if you have a copy of it in front of you. But I believe that the general public does not.
Natalie Turner is now joining.
Just turn it off. She's
Get
gotta
off
turn
the
it off.
other. There you go.
So, just so the general public is aware, what I am, the action that I would like the public body to take in response to my complaint is to ensure the Assistant Commissioner of Parks and the Worcester Parks and Recreation Commission fully comply with the open meeting law. The agenda item that is there mentions going into executive session to discuss complying with laws, but it also mentions federal aid, and it really is kind of misleading and frankly feels deceptive to go into an executive session to discuss compliance with the open meeting law. But if that is what this body chooses to do, I understand. I just would like it on the record that this is a result of issues I have been bringing to you for years. Thank you. Oh, and secondly, I'd like to note and acknowledge and appreciate that as far as I'm aware, we have a representative of not just the cultural diversity of the city, but we now have our city solicitor. So if you do need guidance on whether or not we were able to do things for the first time in the history of Parks Department, as far as I'm aware, we have someone you can ask.
There's no more line for this, correct?
Nope.
New business. Agenda items must be submitted 3 business days before each commission meeting with the subject line agenda item to parks@worcesterma.gov and reply satisfactorily to any required follow-up requests sent by the Parks and Recreation Commission. The individual, organization, or group who has placed an item on the agenda may speak for no more than 5 minutes in total on the item they have submitted. The commission under Chapter 30A, Section 23B, to address the open meeting law complaint and delegate the law department to respond on its behalf. The commission may enter executive session to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant and aid requirements to discuss the open meeting law complaint.
Madam Chair, we are looking for the commission to authorize the law department to move forward on a response to the complaint.
So you're looking for someone to make a motion to authorize the law department to move forward with the response?
Yes, we are looking for the commission to make a motion, second, and approve it to go to the law department for response.
Okay. Do you have any comments, Commissioner Stratton or Turner?
Apologies, just looking for my unmute button there. Only comments I have is, I'm noting the, in the complaint, the request to ensure that the department and the assistant commissioner comply with open meeting law. I think that's certainly the intent of the department and the assistant commissioner. But I do, appreciate Mr. Webb, bringing, concerns to us. He's been very vocal advocate for a number of different items, including rules in the Parks Department. So, I appreciate his, advocacy on this. But otherwise, no comments or questions from my end.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes. Okay.
No, I don't have any comments or questions about it. I just echo Commissioner Stratton's, point. Mr. Webb and I always don't see eye to eye the same way on an issue. But the fact of the matter that he's consistently here is definitely, we are seeing a great change with things when it comes to the commission, the way we operate, the way we deliberate, and it's definitely improved because he is here. And I do also appreciate the fact that he comes, and yeah, thank you.
Through the chair, I'll make a motion to delegate the law department to respond in regards to his open meeting law complaint.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Charteroni?
Yes.
Commissioner Serrato?
Yes.
Commissioner Stratton?
Yes.
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner Samara?
Yes. You have a motion to join.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'm motion to,
I second
I
it.
second it.
Okay. Commissioner Charteroni?
Yes.
Commissioner Serrato?
Yes.
Commissioner Stratton?
Yes.
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Commissioner Samara?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Jeff, that's the record.
Have a good one, everybody. Good night.
All right, thank you. Thanks for making time to come.
That's helpful.
Let me take my stuff. No, it's okay.
Have a good evening, everyone.